She was only 58, but it was as if she lived in a fog. She forgot familiar names, confused silverware with bathroom objects, and left the gas on without realizing it. Her children thought it was just stress, or maybe depression. But the symptoms got worse. She cried alone at night, saying someone was hiding her things. One day, she tried to leave the house but didn't recognize her own street. The diagnosis hit like a punch to the gut: early-onset dementia. But the real shock came moments later, when the doctor looked at the family with a grave expression and said, she was slowly poisoned by her own diet. Her brain aged 20 years before her body. Have you ever wondered if what you eat every day might be silently destroying you from the inside out? Tell us in the comments. Have you ever noticed memory lapses, confusion, or forgetfulness in someone young? It was always the same. In the morning, she had a slice of white bread with margarine, a coffee with refined sugar, and rushed out the door. At lunch, nothing that seemed wrong to most people: rice, processed meat, a zero soda. In the afternoon, stuffed cookies, a processed cereal bar, or sometimes just a simple sandwich with mortadella. At night, instant noodles or frozen lasagna. Everything quick, easy, tasty, and seemingly normal. But there was one detail no one could see: this routine was slowly killing her brain cells. No obvious poison. No illegal drugs. Just the same daily menu that thousands of people consume, thinking they're simply eating. But science already knows. The combination of refined sugar, trans fats, ultra-processed foods, and a lack of essential nutrients is a silent trigger for accelerated brain aging. And she was living proof of that. How many times a week do you eat something just because it's easy, even knowing it's harmful? Comment below. What food do you feel is your biggest weak spot? It wasn't a banned drug, nor a hidden toxic substance. It was something far more ordinary, and for that reason even more dangerous. What destroyed her brain was right there, all along in the kitchen cabinet: colorful packages full of promises: zero trans fat, rich in vitamins, low sodium. Seductive labels that hide a modern poison: ultra-processed foods. These products are designed to trick the body. They bring satiety, instant pleasure, but no real nourishment. On the contrary, they cause inflammation. They spike blood sugar, create dependence, and, most dangerously, directly attack the brain. Studies show that excessive consumption of ultra-processed foods is linked to memory decline, higher risk of Alzheimer's, and even behavioral changes. And she, like so many others, was a silent victim of this enemy disguised as convenience. Have you ever checked the ingredients of a product you eat every day? Challenge: go to your kitchen and see if the first ingredient in your favorite food is something your grandmother would recognize as real food. Comment below what you found. Let's take a look together. While she was devouring processed foods, something essential was missing from her plate: the good fats. You might find it surprising because fats often get a bad reputation. But there are fats that are true allies of the brain, like omega-3 found in fish, nuts, and seeds. They help keep nerve cells healthy, strengthen memory, and fight brain inflammation. In her case, the diet was poor in these essential nutrients. Without these fats, the brain becomes more vulnerable to damage and premature aging. Imagine a car that only gets bad fuel and never proper maintenance. It will break down sooner than it should, right? The brain works the same way. And little by little, this deficiency worsened her mental decline. Do you know how many times a week you consume foods rich in omega-3? If you think it's missing from your diet, leave a like in the comments to remind us all to take better care of our brains. Sugars were perhaps the biggest betrayers in this silent story. They were present in almost everything she consumed: in sweetened coffee, stuffed cookies, and light drinks that were actually loaded with artificial sweeteners. At first, it seemed harmless, even comforting: a sweet treat to brighten the day, a dessert to celebrate small moments. But what few realize is that excess sugar doesn't just overload the liver and cause weight gain. It also drains the brain's energy, triggers inflammation, and impairs the ability to form new neural connections. In other words, it's directly linked to memory problems, difficulty concentrating, and even an increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases. She lived in a vicious cycle. The more she forgot, the more she craved something sweet to feel better. But the effect was the opposite. The sugar accelerated her mental decline, turning the disease into a rapid and relentless progression. Have you noticed any changes in your behavior or memory after eating a lot of sweets? Share your experience here. It might help others open their eyes. Her body was sending signals, but no one seemed to realize the seriousness. Constant fatigue, lack of energy, mild headaches, irritability without any obvious reason. All of these were silent warnings that her brain was suffering. Poor nutrition doesn't just affect the mind, it impacts the entire body. The toxins from ultra-processed foods and excess sugar cause chronic inflammation throughout the body, like slow-burning fires that destroy healthy cells. The immune system becomes overwhelmed trying to fight off this daily invasion. Over time, this internal war damages the function of organs, including the brain. And here's the crucial point. Many ignore these symptoms thinking they're just tiredness or stress. But they can be the first signs of something much more serious. Have you ever experienced any of these symptoms and thought it was normal? Tell us here, you're not alone. Little by little, the changes in her mind began to affect everything around her, especially her family and social relationships. She, who used to be the life of the gatherings, started to withdraw. She forgot appointments, mixed up dates, and insecurity took over. The family, initially patient, began to grow impatient, frustrated, even indifferent. She didn't understand why they were pulling away, and her loneliness grew. Friends stopped calling, visits became fewer. The feeling of isolation turned into an invisible prison where her aging mind felt more and more lost. The suffering wasn't hers alone, but also of everyone who saw what was happening and felt powerless to help. Have you ever seen someone change so much because of their diet and mental health that they seemed like a different person? Leave your comment and share your story. Your experience could help someone avoid the same fate. Not all was lost. Amid the despair, a light appeared, a chance to change the course of her story. The family decided to seek help, to learn more about the diet and habits that might have been accelerating her brain's aging. They consulted specialists, swapped ultra-processed foods for natural options, and added the much-needed omega-3 to her diet. The days were tough, filled with resistance and doubts, but also hope. Slowly, small improvements began to show. More focus, fewer memory lapses, more energy to join conversations. It was proof that it's never too late to take care of the brain and overall health. If you're enjoying this story and want to see more content that can help change lives, leave a like now. It helps me keep bringing you this important information. Science keeps uncovering the impact of diet on brain function. Recent research shows that diets high in sugars, trans fats, and ultra-processed foods are directly linked to an increased risk of dementia, Alzheimer's, and other cognitive disorders. On the other hand, a balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, omega-3, rich fish, and whole foods, can protect brain cells and improve memory. Moreover, studies indicate that inflammation caused by poor quality foods disrupts communication between neurons, making it harder to form new connections and accelerating mental aging. What was once a specialist secret is now a proven reality and an urgent call for changing habits. Did you know you can directly influence your brain's health by what you put on your plate? Share in the comments if you've ever changed a habit to improve your mental health. Behind many ultra-processed and industrialized foods lies a powerful industry that profits from what often harms our health. Chemical ingredients, preservatives, hidden sugars, and trans fats are used to extend product shelf life and make them more appealing, but at a high cost to our brains. These companies often spend millions on marketing to make us believe their products are essential, tasty, and even healthy. But the truth is, many of these ingredients are silent enemies that gradually destroy cognitive abilities and increase the risk of mental illnesses. The big question is, do you really know what you're consuming? Often, packaging hides important information, and continuous consumption of these products can be a trap for your brain health. Have you ever stopped to read the labels on the foods you buy? Comment below if you've ever discovered something that scared you. The good news is that despite the damage caused by poor nutrition, the brain has an incredible ability to recover, a plasticity that can be stimulated with the right choices. It's not a magical or quick process, but with discipline and guidance, it's possible to slow down brain aging and even regain lost functions. Simple changes like swapping ultra-processed foods for natural ones, increasing consumption of omega-3 rich fish, berries, nuts, and staying properly hydrated can make a huge difference. Additionally, regular physical activity, avoiding excessive stress, and engaging in mental exercises further boost recovery. But the most important step is the first one: recognizing the problem and deciding to take action. Don't wait for severe signs to seek help. Taking care of brain health should be a priority at any age. If you're going through this or know someone who is, leave a comment with a word of encouragement or a question. Let's build a support network here. This story isn't just about her or about you, it's about all of us. What we put on our plates directly impacts our bodies, our minds, and our lives. Nutrition can be the greatest ally or the biggest enemy of our brain. Never underestimate the power of daily choices. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish your brain and extend your quality of life, or to accelerate the silent where that goes unnoticed until it's too late. Today, the invitation is for you to become aware of what you're consuming and make choices that strengthen your mind. Because taking care of your brain is taking care of your story, your dreams, and your future. If this video made you reflect, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Together, we can transform lives. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss information that could save your health and the health of those you love. Share this content with friends and family. The more people who know, the better. And in the comments, tell us, what habit are you going to change today to take better care of your brain? Your story could inspire others.